A cold winter evening wrapped the small town of Rosewood in silence. Inside a dimly lit house on the edge of the town, a 17-year-old girl named Elena Carter stood quietly behind the kitchen door, hearing every word that broke her heart. Her father, James Carter, slammed the cable and yelled, "Elena is nothing useful to this family. She will never succeed in life. The sooner she leaves this house, the better." Her stepmother, Victoria, smirked cruelly. "She's a burden. Once she turns 18, throw her out. She is not our daughter. She's just an obligation." Elena pressed her hand against her mouth to stop herself from crying out loud. Her mother had died when she was 8, and ever since James married Victoria, life had become a nightmare. Everything went wrong. The love disappeared, the hug stopped, the smile on her father's face vanished. The only time James looked at Elena was with disappointment. Elena walked back to her room with shaking legs, tears falling silently. She stared at the only picture of her late mother, a warm smile, soft eyes, the hug Elena still remembered. That night, she packed a small bag, took her school certificates and a little money she had saved from a part-time job, and left the house quietly without looking back. No one stopped her. No one even noticed. The cold wind hit her face as she whispered, "I'll return one day, not as the girl you threw away, but as the woman you'll fear." Years passed like a storm. Elena worked endlessly, waitressing, cleaning offices at night, studying during the day, renting a tiny room, sometimes crying herself to sleep, but never stopping. She faced insults, loneliness, hunger, and endless pain, yet she did not break. She built herself slowly, step by step, entered a business school, worked harder than anyone, secured scholarships, graduated top of her class, and then joined a financial company where her intelligence shocked her coworkers. She grew, sharp mind, calm eyes, unshakable confidence. At 28 years old, Elena Carter became the CEO and owner of ELC Global Finance, one of the fastest-growing financial corporations in the country. Magazines called her the woman of iron will. People admired her success, but they didn't know her real story. She never returned home. She never called. She cut herself off completely. But fate had its ways. One winter morning, the same season she was thrown out, Elena's secretary entered her office nervously. "Ma'am, a company applied for a loan and partnership proposal, Carter Enterprises." The breath inside her body froze for a second. Carter, her father's company. She asked, "Who is running it now?" "James Carter and his wife, Victoria. The company is drowning in bankruptcy. If someone doesn't invest soon, it will shut down." The pain that Elena buried for years opened like an old wound, but the tears didn't return. Instead, a calm, cold fire filled her eyes. "Schedule a meeting," she ordered. The next day, in a 5-star hotel hall, James and Victoria waited nervously for the mysterious investor. When the doors opened and Elena appeared, dressed in a black business suit, poised like a queen, both of them froze. Victoria whispered in disbelief, "Elena?" James trembled. "We thought you were dead. We searched." She interrupted with a cold smile. "You searched? The day I left, you didn't even open my bedroom door." Silence fell like a thunderstorm. James forced a smile. "Elena, we are family. Let's forget the past. We need help, and I know you can." Elena leaned forward. "Family? You mean the same family that called me useless and threw me out?" Victoria's voice cracked. "We made mistakes." "No," Elena replied sharply. "You made decisions, and life is returning them to you." James began sweating. "So you won't help us? This company carries our family legacy." Elena looked straight into his eyes. "You cared about the company more than your daughter. Now you lose both." She stood up, signed the papers that ensured Carter Enterprises would be legally bought by ELC Global, making her the sole owner, while James and Victoria were removed permanently. James collapsed onto the chair, crying in humiliation. Victoria begged, falling to her knees, "Please, Elena, don't do this to us. We'll have nothing." Elena replied coldly, "I had nothing, and I survived. Now it's your turn." She walked away as they shouted her name in desperation. But the story did not end there. On her way home that night, Elena stopped the car near the old neighborhood, her childhood street. Memories hit her hard, her mother's laughter, the smell of cookies, her small birthday parties. For the first time in many years, Elena cried, silently. She whispered to the sky, "Mom, I finally did it. I proved they were wrong." Suddenly, a little girl selling flowers knocked on her window and said, "Did you cry? My mom says crying doesn't make you weak. It means your heart is still working." Elena smiled through her tears and hugged the girl. That night, she realized something. Revenge wasn't enough. Strength wasn't just about destroying the people who hurt you, it was about healing yourself. A week later, the media exploded with headlines. ELC Global Finance launches foundation to support abandoned and abused children and teenagers. Elena created a shelter with her mother's name, Grace Home, a safe space for children like her, children who were thrown away, forgotten, unloved. She never returned to her father again, and she didn't need to. James and Victoria watched her success on TV every night, drowning in regret, begging the universe for a second chance they no longer deserved. She didn't forgive them for what they did. She didn't hate them either. She simply outgrew them. In one interview, a reporter asked her, "What motivates you the most?" Elena smiled gently and answered, "When the world tries to break you, you have two choices, fall or rise. I chose to rise."